I do know that like it's pretty easy to push between like the left and right side, right? But like
Yeah, I
you
mean,
have
there's
like
only two
the ease
options,
of doing
right?
that. Like there's a lot of options to get to the basket. Um, and because of that, this map can be like pretty diverse in terms of weapons. Like I think Baller does alright in this map if you time it well. You know, like your your staple specials like missiles, armor,
Right.
ray, they all do pretty well on this map as well.
Yeah.
Like it seems like a pretty a map that would encourage diversity between comps, and I think a lot of things would work here.
Well, we'll get to find out because finally, after my dumbness, we are getting ready for game number 3, jumping into the action between Lunar Tide and Nasty Majesty. Sorry for the wait, but we are now finally ready. All right, and it looks like for Nasty Majesty, they are going to be in the yellow. Meanwhile, Lunar Tide is going to be in the purple. Looks like I have potentially the teams flip-flopped between Alpha and Bravo, but that's okay. Salty, I am seeing a Nautilus come out from both teams. That makes me happy. What are you seeing right now?
I mean, first of all, it's kind of interesting. It does work on this map. Like, there's a lot of long, narrow straightaways that the Flint Roller can just kind of pressure. That's really good. Ooh, a Flusher Gecko. Ooh, that brings me back to like 2017. Yeah, a weapon that it's long past its prime, but it definitely can still work in this day and age.
Well, it looks like right now, it looks like Lunar Tide are actually playing it pretty well. Is that gonna be maybe a chance for them to score even with their Super Clam, but unfortunately it's gonna get shut down. 3 go down potentially for Lunar Tide. They are gonna save the Super Clam, but it looks like they are getting stopped from ever getting close to the basket there.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty even right now. I think the teams are just kind of waiting for that one pick to be able to push in and just take advantage.
Yeah,
That's really like this map is that it's easy to defend, but also like if you get that one pick, it's really easy to steamroll. So
yeah. Well, Nasty Majesty using that baller to try to get there. They are going to get shut down there before they can get the Super Clam ready. And a nice defense by Lunar Tide. They're actually playing this match, Salty, a lot closer than I maybe originally thought they would.
for sure, it's definitely like part of the reason the comp's really balanced, and especially on this map, it's really strong on the defense. We'll have to see how they're able to pull it off on the offense, but I think it'll also be a pretty similar outcome if they play it really well.
Yeah, well, they're trying to use that baller maybe to get a super jump in and score, but ink armor popped by Nasty Majesty, and that could be the moment of defense again. No score. It's already 2 minutes into the game, and both teams, all they've done is picked up a Super Clam and then died. That is pretty crazy so far.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate. No team has really been able to take advantage of, you know, any picks that they've been able to get.
Yeah,
But it's only a matter of time.
Shane on that Nautilus again, doing some work, trying to get the stops down onto Lunar Tide. They were in a 2v4 defense, but Shane on this Nautilus is going to get the job done to actually get the Super Clam down, and it looks like, yeah, Lunar Tide is not going to be able to get their push going. Nautilus fight, they're going to just swap back and forth their kills. It's 3 minutes in here, Salty, and this game is a nail biter. I mean, is it possible to tie on Splatoon? That's not possible, right?
But you do go to 10 minutes if they somehow can't score it at that point.
Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully we don't see that. Both teams have a chance to score. Diego with the chance. Booyah Bomb coming out, and Nasty Majesty looks like they have the chance, but Diego goes down. They pick it back up, and no, they go down again. Jamocha isn't able to hold on, and Lunar Tide makes the stop once again. I'm a little bit afraid of going to overtime with literally no score. Lunar Tide does have 25 clams, so they have a lot of clams. Can they get the push, though, to actually score? That has been the problem all game long. Both teams aren't able to use their specials to have anyone jump in with those super clams.
Yeah, I think the teams are definitely a bit lacking on those specials that just kind of break through the defensive line. And like, I mean, each team does have a Booyah Bomb, but outside of that, they don't really have much else to kind of break through the line.
Well, Tide is almost there. Tide does throw it in. Salty, we finally have a score 4 minutes into this game. Tide barely making the score, just before dying, but they're only going to get to 80, so that means Nasty Majesty, if they can get this super clam in, can take the lead with just one clam in the basket. Shane using that baller, trying to get there, but he's being pressured by everybody. Tide is going to get him. Tide has been amazing today, popping them off, but all of a sudden, a super clam comes out, and Diego is going to throw in the second one. Nasty Majesty with the lead, with the comeback. Salty here in the last minute. I don't know if they're going to get any more. Diego rather is throwing in one, but they're going to have trouble getting in any more. Gets a double kill, and actually all of a sudden a third super clam comes in. Finally, the floodgates are opened, and Nasty Majesty are going to take a giant lead off of that.
Yeah, that was a really good push overall, especially the Diego just kind of stalling out there during that 1v1.
Yeah, what was different about that push that finally led them to the victory push potentially right here? It seemed like the three pushes didn't work, but that one did.
The well-timed B-bomb for sure definitely did help out with that push, because they kind of displaced the entire defense there, and that just kind of allowed them to like pincer them from both sides.
Yeah, the Tide's going to try to throw in that last super clam, but all go down. That is the game. Nasty Majesty just needed that one push. That one push was enough indeed to get the win there. They are going to score. Well, actually, I mean, overtime's still technically going. I thought it was over, but I guess they saved that super clam. But no, time is now over. You only get a certain amount of time with that super clam, and overtime is now over. Nasty Majesty finally, this time around, I can say they did pull off that first victory. So nice job to them. Lunar Tide, though, seemingly like they had a good chance to win that game. They did get the lead in the beginning. Well, I think it's not even the beginning. Salty, it took 4 minutes to get the first score by Lunar Tide. Do you think both teams are that evenly matched, or is it just on that map it was so hard for both teams to find a score there?
Yeah, no, that map is definitely like defense oriented for sure. It's really easy to defend, and it does definitely take like a lot of just kind of team coordination and the right timings between teams to really push that. But Nasty Majesty was able to find it in the end, and that gave them the win.
Yeah, I mean, after that first clam that came through from Nasty Majesty, it seemed like they could keep the bucket open forever, and they were able to score, 63 points right off the bat. So great job to Nasty Majesty getting it done pretty much in clutch moments. I mean, there was, I think 40 seconds left was it before they finally scored, but they kept pushing, they kept going for it. I want to say that was about their 4th or 5th push until it was finally successful. And I guess sometimes that's just all you need, Salty, is just a team that is willing to fight to those last moments and keep pushing, keep going. And it didn't seem like they were ever down and out. They didn't seem like they were ever going to give up or quit.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're like good showings from both of the teams. Like both of them defended really well. It's just kind of like at the end of the day, like Nasty Majesty was able to find the push, and the Lunar Tide wasn't able to.
Yeah, well, we're getting ready for game 2 now. Rainmaker on Black Belly Skate Park. Lunar Tide putting up that first great 4 minutes of that match makes me think that they can definitely take a win off to Nasty Majesty here in Rainmaker. Are you looking for them to pull out a similar comp, or for them to switch it up at all for Rainmaker on Black Belly?
Rainmaker on Black Belly, probably switch it up. Slosher's a lot stronger on this map. We might not see the knot here. I think, for example, like Shane might go Sloshing Machine here because it's just stronger. A lot more bombs as well from both sides will probably go a long way to break the Rainmaker shoot as well. So probably a bit of a shift.
Well, let's see if they listen to you. We are ready for game number 2, so let's get the action started. Right now, we're going to have Lunar Tide here in the purple, and in the green is going to be, of course, our wonderful Nasty Majesty, already up 1-0 here. What are you seeing out of these teams that maybe surprises you and catches you off guard as you see the weapons?
Let's see. The Bamboo, for sure, the Bamboo, well, the Bamboo is definitely a bit of a surprise. I mean, the Fizzy Bomb does work really well, and it does have, like, good damage, so it's not a bit of a surprise, but still. Also, the leader on Rainmaker, interesting.
I'm interested. Yeah, I'm interested to see. We have 2 splooshes out here today. Nugget has been known for making that sploosh famous on Rainmaker, but Shane is also playing the sploosh And already Nasty Majesty taking up that Rainmaker to 38. Tide is going to pick it up and take it back the other way. But a good first push by Nasty Majesty. And on Black Valley Skate Park, 38 seems like a pretty good score to me. I don't know what about you, Salty, if you think that's going to hold on or not.
We'll have to see. 38 on Black Belly isn't too much. Like, one team life, and you're definitely able to make that up. So, like in this scenario, like, they could definitely, Lunar Tide could definitely push it here and take lead. So, it's definitely not concrete.
Yeah, Lunar Tide trying to go through this pretty small corridor. I know that's a hard spot to push from. So, it looks like they're going to back out and go the other way. Tide has been getting kill after kill on this Rainmaker. He's held it for about maybe a minute almost, and they do get their first points, but clearly not enough as Mako gets the stop on that Bamboozler. We also have Tide. I'm interested, what do you think about this Eliter coming out on Rainmaker, Black Belly? You think that's a decent choice, or is that kind of a weird for the Rainmaker mode?
I think definitely a weird choice. I mean, the extra lane is nice, but the Eliter is fairly slow. So, I mean, to be fair, like, you can kind of combat the slowness of the E-Leader a little bit. So it's not necessarily too bad, but it's definitely a bit unconventional compared to something like a Benbola Charger or a jet, like a custom jet sculpture.
3 are going to go down there, unfortunately, for Jamocha and, for Lunar Tide. Jamocha is popping off right now, seemingly getting the job done for Nasty Majesty. They have 2.5 minutes. If they can get a KO here, I think they would love that instead of trying to go back and forth with Lunar Tide. But Tide is going to make the stop using that sploosh, just sneaking by. Can he get another kill here? That would be huge for the team to get back some of the numbers. Stamp is ready. Do you think they will pull it out? Tide has been known to grab that Rainmaker. He's going to give it up to Lunar, though. So we'll see. It's seeming like a back and forth match, but Nasty Majesty, to me, seems to definitely have the upper hand when it comes to the defense. They've been doing a great job, and Diego going to get a double kill as I say that. Going for the triple. Nasty Majesty and Diego popping off right there. This could be the end of the game, Salty, if they can get a couple more picks here. Lunar Tide in some trouble. They are going to get a Rainmaker stop, so still only up 38, a minute 45. What does Lunar Tide need to do to try to take the lead here?
Just try to reclaim the map for right now, you know? Like, that's the first step. It's always the first step. Just simply put, Nasty Majesty has this control over the entire map, and that's just kind of crippling Lunar Tide the entire time. Yeah,
that is a lot of green I'm seeing, Salty. It is very difficult to move around and score any points when all of the map is green, and you can see Shane is just able to use that map pressure and get a flank easily onto the Rainmaker. 3 go down for Lunar Tide. This could be all she wrote. Shane with a double kill, and looks like Lunar Tide's going to have a really tough time making the stop. At least they get the Rainmaker. But man, it is looking pretty grim, as you said, Salty. So much map control, so much paint on the side of Nasty Majesty.
Yeah, for sure. This is looking pretty hard to come back from. And now that Nasty Majesty is like, literally on the verge of earning enough points to kind of win here, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for Lunar Tide.
Well, we have an uphill battle, but we still have 40 seconds, so it's not impossible. Shane, again, looking for that come from behind flank on the Rainmaker, but Tide is slipping by. Tide is getting some scores. He's all alone, but, oh, man, does go down. Jamocha making that last second stop. That could have saved the game potentially right there for Nasty Majesty.
Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't pan out for us, so... So definitely be pretty hard to push considering Nasty Majesty can simply just hold the Rainmaker at this point. So this might be game.
10 seconds. Lunar Tide does make the pop. Tide's going to pick it up, but straight into bubble. Salty. That is going to be the game. They do pop it open, but they don't get the overtime they were looking for. A close match again by Lunar Tide. It seems like they have so many matches. They are just falling short only by 24 points. Jamocha making a great stop there with that in-zap, and 12 splats for Jamocha, highlighting her. Really seemed like Tide, I think that was Nugget with the Rainmaker. It looked like they had one chance there at the end to get the lead, but Jamocha making a great stop, Salty. Anyone else you see out there that you think we should be highlighting here on the desk?
Yeah, no, Jamoka was doing a lot, but also Diego, I think it was the one on the roller. Like they were doing a lot of work on the defense as well, and just opening up a lot of space
Yeah,
for Nasty Majesty to just kind of keep control.
yeah, we saw Diego make that triple kill on the Rainmaker. I think they were in a 1v3, but stopping the Rainmaker with that roller and then getting 2 more kills, I think that really was the momentum swing of the game. It seemed like maybe Lunar Tide would have a back and forth, but after that, it was pretty hard for Lunar Tide to have any map control moving forward from there. So, good job to Nasty Majesty getting that second win of the day. I just want to take a quick thank you to everyone watching this hype matchup between Lunar Tide and Nasty Majesty. We are hitting some record-breaking viewer numbers, so thank you guys for following. Shaky, D, Koji, Eternally, and Akon earlier today. Thank you guys so much for supporting Splatoon 2 Esports. But right now we have match number 3 coming up in Splat Zones. Skipper Pavilion, we talked about last time, Salty, the range that Persistence was able to use to really box out Inca Kings from even getting to the zone. Salty, do you think one of these teams is going to go for that strategy, or do you think they don't have the players to pull that off?
For zones?
Yeah.
I mean, they could probably go for it. I mean, whatever they got to lose, they kind of need this game if they want to keep any hope of getting into top cut, so.
All right, well, I'm excited to see. Lunar Tide has put up 2 really close matches between Nasty Majesty, still looking for their first win of the season, but they've been close so many times. Let's see if they finally get it here in game number 3 versus Nasty Majesty. They got one more chance.
I think they do. We'll see if they make this chance count.
All right, Lunar Tide's going to be in the purple. Green is going to be Nasty Majesty on the other hand. So much for long range, at least on the side of Nasty Majesty. I'm seeing all aggressive Slayers for the most part coming out by them.
Yeah, but at the very least, Nasty Majesty does outrange a few of those crucial weapons on the side of them. Oh no, never mind. I got mixed up. Yeah, no, Nasty Majesty kind of running a bunch of short range.
Yep, already going down. One person is. I don't know what that Booyah Bomb was, but they still get control, so ultimately it doesn't matter too much. But finally, they're using some of those pick potential Slayer weapons 2v3, and I think Nasty Majesty are going to be able to take the zone back right off the bat.
Yeah, for sure. Even with short range weapons though, if you got good coordination and you're just able to pressure your opponents accordingly, before they even drop, like, it still can be really easy to lock out your opponent. It's just easier to do with range, but it's not impossible for Nasty Majesty here.
Yeah, it seems like so far, though, Nasty Majesty is having a hard time staying alive with these Slayer weapons. They are getting a little bit outranged. is putting in some work there on this Nautilus, and so far, Lunar Tide actually with their first lead of the day. Can they hold on, though? That's the real question.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty close right now. You know, the picks of the Slayers is definitely showing a bit, like, the weakness, you know, like, they're not really able to kind of lock out, Lunar Tide here as efficiently on the side of Nasty Majesty, so it is definitely giving Lunar Tide, like, a fighting chance here.
Yeah. They did get wiped, though, earlier. That means that Nasty Majesty is going to have the control that they need to get a lot of those picks to move up with the paint. They are going to take the lead, which is pretty big, although we still have 3 minutes left, and it looks like this is going to be a back-and-forth game that pretty much goes all the way, I believe. Diego on this Nautilus. We haven't seen Diego on the Nautilus. Usually it's been Shane, so I'm kind of interested to see that change up, if it was just for fun or if they had a strategy switching up weapons, but so far it is working out. They do have just the 2-point lead. What does Lunar Tide need to do to get back into this zone? Because right now it seems like a lot of paint for Nasty Majesty.
Honestly, just the basics, you know, get a pick, use that opening to extend your advantage, which will eventually lead into a zone cap, you know. But you gotta start winning those team fights, you can't just drop them.
Yeah, well, the Booyah Bomb and the Baller is going to get them the zone, at least for now. Jamoka in a 1v3 trying to get something done. Does get tied, but right now it looks like Lunar Tide has the potential to get the lead back if they can hold the zone a little bit more, or those Tenta missiles might hit the zone and stop the push for now. They still have it. They're working through the penalty. They lose control, 1 point away from the lead, but Lunar Tide is going to get a triple kill there, and they get the zone back. Nasty Majesty now are going to be in some big trouble with only 37 points for Lunar Tide to work through. Do you believe, Salty, that Lunar Tide will get the win right here for the first one of the season?
I mean, hey, it's looking possible. I don't believe.
Yep. 3 go down, though. They are going to lose the zone, I believe, off of that Tide in a 3v1. Does get a kill on Mako. A nice pick. Jamoka, though, going to clean that off. And unfortunately, they don't get the KO there that we were hoping for. A minute 20 left. This looks like it's going to be a great match coming down here to the wire, Salty. I'm excited to see, can Lunar Tide actually make it happen?
It's not impossible right now. They definitely do need to recap zone soon though, but as long as they keep their composure, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, Tide getting a pick. They are almost about to lose the lead. They used their Booyah Bombs earlier. One more comes out though. They have 2. Another one to cap the zone. They are going to hold on to the lead by 3 points, but 2 go down. Ink Armor was seemingly timed perfectly by Mako, allowing them to get a couple picks there. Alright, can they work through their penalty though? They got 30 seconds to do it. They have full control, 4v2. They have potential to actually get a KO themselves here now. 3v3 on the map. Tide trying to do his best. Booyah Bomb ready, throwing it out there. They are in a 2v2. Can they get the zone back in time? 1 point away, but unfortunately they let Diego cap it, and it looks like Lunar Tide again are going to get stopped just seconds shy. Nasty Majesty able to pull out that KO in the last moment. You gotta feel bad for Lunar Tide, Salty, putting up a great match, but in the last moments giving the zone back to Nasty Majesty twice in a row. Nasty Majesty able to cap that twice and get the KO. Diego with 18 kills on the Splatling. Salty, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little bit heartbroken for Lunar Tide. They seemingly had that game in their hands, just like they have had it in previous maps and modes. But what was it there that made them lose that lead in the last moments?
I think for the most part, they just kind of lost composure. They've kind of just dived for zone a little too much and completely neglected the enemy team, which, well, yeah, you do cap zone. You have to realize the enemy team is alive, and if you expend all your resources capping zone before you kill the enemy team, they'll just use their resources against you. Like, you've wasted all your resources without killing the enemy team, and that can just be bounced back against you, and that's exactly what happened there.
Yeah, and I'd like to highlight Mako from Nasty Majesty on that Tri-Slosher, using that Ink Armor in a perfectly timed clutch moment. I saw them get 2 kills from that, and that seemed like Lunar Tide after that, as you said, lost their composure. They didn't know how to get back into the zone in the final moments. Nasty Majesty able to pull off that 3-0. They are now sitting at 9-6. Salty, do you believe in this team to make playoffs? Currently sitting at 5th, looking outside, but 3 wins here are going to give them a better shot, of course, getting that 4th spot. What do you think?
What is it? 9-6. They've played 15 games. They still have 3 more to go. It's
9 more to go.
Possible.
Yep. So are you a believer in this team? Are they a legit playoff team?
We'll have to see, but, just win 2 more sets.
All right.
Or 3 more, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens to them.
6 games.
Yeah, we'll see what happens to them. Lunar Tide.